If you do what you can with what you have, where you are, then God will lead you where you are and will increase what you have. If you do what you can with what you have, where you are, then God will lead you where you are and will increase what you have. Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm Sila Nicolas, and I'm here to invite you to go on a journey about discovering our natural abilities, our talents, and be good stewards of these God-given gifts. Let me begin with a story. Before the lockdown, I was already preparing myself to transition my career. Well, my life from IT into pursuing my recently acquired culinary degree and work in a commercial kitchen full-time. So, I had my plans laid out, I was bound to take an international internship, and eventually work in another country. But it appears that the Lord had a different plan. Iba pala ang plano ni Lord para sa akin. The restaurant, where I used to work part-time, had to stop its operations. During the first couple of months of the lockdown, I felt devastated because I was already too focused on making that childhood dream come true to the point that I was already losing interest in my IT day job. I felt that my IT day job was already dragging, but I had to do it anyway because I needed to finance my needs. Siyempre, kailangan nating kumayod, di ba? Maybe the pandemic is really life-changing. Yes, it can be, whichever perspective you're on. Whether you're overly nega, I can continue to feel lost, hide inside my shell, just simply go with the flow and stay silent. Or I can allow the Lord to surprise me and speak through the events that He unfolds. Little did I know, the redirection, yung hindi natuloy na pag-iibang bansa ko para matupad yung aking culinary dream, it was actually the Lord's way of preparing me for something big here in Manila. Today, brothers and sisters, allow me to share with you 3 of the most significant points which helped me to grow in these God-given gifts. Pandemic Edition. Paano ko nga ba na-discover yung iba ko pang mga kakayahan kahit nasa bahay lang? First is, pray. And really immerse yourself in prayer. In November of 2020, I was asked to do a live sharing in a Workers of Christ community event. I was very nervous at first because since the pandemic started in March of 2020, I was laying low in my service. I didn't know how to face our brothers and sisters in community when I myself was struggling. So I began to pray and really immersed myself in prayer. And this time, instead of asking the Lord for this and that to grant me this and that, instead of speaking and asking the Lord for so much, I just kept quiet and listened. Which leads me to my second point. To be patient. To be patient in the midst of uncertainty. Kahit hindi mo naiintindihan yung mga nangyayari sa'yo ngayon. The inspiration to write my life sharing, it didn't come overnight. It was a process. It took me days and even weeks of continuous waiting and listening. Brothers and sisters, these days it's difficult to be patient. Just a few seconds of delay in our internet connection, you already started feeling frustrated. Bad trip na agad tayo minsan, di ba? Same thing when things do not go our way. We start to feel down. And so this pandemic taught me to be patient in the midst of uncertainty. And while I do so, I asked the Lord to take full control of my life. I started living a life of total surrender. Sinuko ko ang lahat sa Panginoon. And so the third point is, get ready. You know why, brothers and sisters? When you allow the Lord to take full control of your life, He will take you into situations where you'll get to know yourself better. He will open up opportunities before you. He will shape you and mold you to become the unique person that He created you to be, just as He declared in Isaiah 43 verse 1. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. And so finally, one night, I clearly heard his message. Nagbunga yung masinsinang pagdarasal at pagiging patient ko. Everything that he wanted me to deliver in my life sharing, I was able to write in one sitting. Since then, I got myself back on track. Opportunities to get to know myself, my natural abilities, and God-given talents came in the different areas of my life ha? At work, in practicing my culinary skills, hindi man natupad yung pag-abroad ko, and in service dito sa ating community na workers of Christ. Projects came here and there, and these made me have a deeper appreciation of my unique abilities, learn to embrace them, and continue to have that desire to grow in character. Armed, of course, with an attitude of openness, prayer, and a deliberate pursuit of studying His Word daily. Take note ha, not just reading the Gospel, but also trying to understand the teachings behind them better. The uncertainty that I felt because of this pandemic, it was transformed into a clarity of purpose. And for those who do not know, our community celebrated its 30th anniversary in February. And just a few months before that, a new ministry, this ministry, our ministry, the youth, was born. And I was personally called to take on this assignment. So I started to understand the series of events in my life. Not just during the lockdown, but the years of pruning and molding, where I have devoted more than half of it into learning and understanding the different needs of this group. It made me realize that the Lord's redirection, it was actually a reminder. It was a clear and strong reminder that it's time for me to use these gifts. Remember, brothers and sisters, these gifts, they're not ours. And no matter how we try to stay discreet, kahit saang lupalop pa tayo magtago, brothers and sisters, the Lord will find us and will keep providing us with opportunities to serve. And as you use these gifts, allow me to share with you some of my realizations that made this journey fruitful. Ano nga ba yung mga natutunan ko habang nadidiscover ko itong mga gifts na meron pala ako? Una, when you do something that you're truly passionate about, you do it out of love. And when you do something out of love, your energy flows from the inside out. Let's start noticing that with you think less about yourself and start making an impact within your circle of influence, and sometimes even beyond. Pangalawa, in the process of working, you forget about the personal rewards. And in my experience, it's so satisfying to see how people start to leveling up in their service as well. When you use these gifts, you become His instruments that allow touching other people's lives because you enjoy and draw inspiration and maybe open up opportunities for them as well to ignite their passions. And finally, it taught me to stop forcing myself to overcome the things that I am not, and to grow instead in areas that I discover I have potential in. And so, brothers and sisters, I hope we all find time to pray and reflect on the gifts that we have received and be open to those that we are yet to discover. Remember to be patient because we have varying timelines. Magkakaiba tayo, brothers and sisters, and we're all faced with different circumstances. Magkakaiba tayo ng pinagdadaanan. And finally, get ready and just allow the Lord to surprise you with the things that you are yet to discover so that eventually you can serve according to your purpose. You can do whatever you want with these gifts, with these skills, with these talents. But at the end of the day, remember, these are all from God. And wouldn't it be great to hear Him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant. Since you are faithful in small matters, I will give you great responsibilities. Come, share your master's joy." And so, brothers and sisters, let us all be good stewards of these God-given gifts. Praise God.